Hey everybody, it's Charlie from Daily Motor, and today we've got a blast from the past. No, it's not 2009, this is 2020, and we've got Nissan's Z-Car, the 370Z NISMO. So this is Nissan's pure sports car offering. 6-speed manual, 350 horsepower naturally aspirated V6 motor. Got it on some big old tires here. I'm pretty sure we're rocking like 285s in the rear. What do we got? Yep, 285 35 R19. These Dunlop SP Sport Max GT 600 Testosterone editions. So we've got Nathan here helping us out. We've been out sort of evaluating this car. We've had a pretty unique experience. Really appreciate Nissan letting us take this up to northern Michigan. A little vacation here. Sort of getting to experience what the car's like, not only in a sporty setting, but also as a little bit of a grand tour. So you see we've got some storage back here, nice plush carpet with a good old Z logo. You can pull this back and cover up your luggage if you want, keep it out of the sun or just out of prying eyes. You do have a spare tire back there along with the Bose subwoofer and amplifier. It's kind of a pain to pull that up, so just take my word for it. We don't have a window sticker for this exact car, but we do know it's in this beautiful white metallic paint color. Almost looks like a tri-coat or something. These cool red and black NISMO accents as well. For a car that's as old as it is, the styling is still, I'd say, pretty up to date. I think it's still a car that's, I mean, it still grabs your attention, looks-wise, especially for someone who doesn't know. I mean, people look at this car and they're like, wow, what is that? And you're like, this is actually a $30,000 car that's 11 years old.
They have done a good job of keeping it looking fresh, but for me, it's just hard to see it that way since I've been looking at this car since 2009.
Yeah, it was a car. I was just playing Gran Turismo 5 on the PlayStation 3 the other night, and this car is featured in that on like the menus and stuff. You see sort of the back of it and the front of it and like the new car dealership menu and stuff. But it really is styled cool. It's a big long hood, the cockpit, and then sort of the sloping fastback look in the rear. It sort of harkens back to old Z cars while still providing kind of a fresh, modern take. The NISMO version gives a little bit of a wider rear haunch. And the cool but styled looks, I should say, they continue on inside as well. So let's go ahead and hop in, take it out for a little drive. I like the door handles where they are. Cool off color, weird placement. This car is sort of the essence of the sports car. I mean, yeah, you could easily argue that there are plenty of other better deals out there. I mean, this is a $45,000 car base for the NISMO. And yet, a Mustang GT that you could get for $38 or Camaro SS would wipe the floor with this thing performance-wise. But they don't have sort of the sports car essence and feel the way the Z-Car does. It's a tighter cabin in here. There's no rear seats, just a little bit of storage area. It's a very tight, reinforced feeling car, almost more like a go-kart, whereas those bigger pony cars, you feel like you're sort of wrestling around with a beast. Actually, let's leave this open, get a few revs here. I wonder if it pipes in sound in neutral too.
I don't hear it.
Yeah, it's definitely harder to tell. That sounds a little more natural. But you'll hear when we're in gear, we're driving around, you get a good loud dose of piped in artificial sound, which is a bit of a shame because this VQ motor, as you could hear just a second ago, sounds good. And we've heard VQ. I had an old 2006 Infiniti M35X that had the 3.5 liter VQ, and one of my mufflers rusted off. So I took both of them completely off for about a month or so, and it sounded cool. It sounded good. But instead, Nissan, starting in 2016, decided the Z-Cars needed a little artificial enhancement, and they pipe in sound through the speakers, and I know that evokes the ire of many car purists. And you guys will see, I think it's a little bit annoying after a while as well. Super ancient infotainment system, although the map isn't the worst in the world. It still holds its own here in 2020. But
still better than early 2010s Volvo, that's for sure.
Yep, definitely. You can see better resolution, everything on that. But the Bluetooth is still super cumbersome to pair up. So some of the materials in here definitely look dated and cheap, but others feel nice and a little bit more premium. This, really nice Alcantara on the wheel, as well as some leather and this little red spot to let you know where the top of the wheel is.
This is nice and soft. Those are hard. Holy cow.
That wheel.
Wow.
Jeez. I mean, at least you don't touch those regularly, but yeah, it's a surprising mix.
And then this, I always noticed this over here, the whole mirror shakes when you do that. This is all kind of hard. But it's a very mix of good and bad. You got the Alcantara, but the Alcantara is on this cheap piece of plastic.
Yep. Yeah, and a lot of people on the channel are probably going to see you and get PTSD after we tore the Nissan Titan apart.
Oh, God.
So Nissan's probably not exactly happy to have you back in here. But I think that's accurate. These seats are they're very cool and comfortable, but they're a bit tight up here. You and I are not particularly thick in our torsos, but I mean, like, you're kind of bubbling out. I'm tucked in here very tight. Good for corners, but not good for much else.
Yeah.
But
I'd say it's even a bit bad for corners because my shoulders stick way out past these things.
Gotcha.
I mean, unless this is designed for people in Japan.
Which would kind of make sense.
It's not the same typical Ford Mustang or Dodge Challenger seats, which do the opposite of these.
Yeah, just kind of let you spill out nice and easily.
And also legroom too. I mean, I'm only 5'9", and my knee can hit the gear lever. My feet only go to about there. And this is...
You could actually probably go back quite a bit.
Oh, I can't go back.
It's better.
That's better.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Then you can't recline your seat at all. And it is I got to get out and show you guys this. It's the world's worst seat recliner mechanism in history. Do you feel where it is back there? It's a triangle.
What is this? I can't even turn.
I know.
I still can't turn. My hand physically doesn't fit in the spot.
I know.
To turn it.
It's comically bad.
Also, you want to show them the dual back?
I will. Yeah, here, I can show you right here. That's the seat turning mechanism, and it's sort of stuck back there between the plastic. It's tough.
I still can't grab it.
I know. It's difficult. You can only get a partial bit of your hand on there. It's weird. It's I don't know. I think that might be exclusive to the NISMO seats, but definitely a strange choice there. And then, yeah, the backup camera is certainly one of the quirkiest I've seen, to quote Daddy Doug. Throw it into reverse here, and you've got two backup cameras. In fact, I should go under the shade. You guys will be able to see the interior a little bit better. Okay, should be able to see the interior better now, I would think. If it's gonna ever stop beeping. I guess I have no choice but to put my seatbelt on. Okay.
You know, I'm pretty sure the Titan did something annoying like that.
Probably did, and yet we're gonna go, oh, you guys just hate Nissan. No, it's just annoying. So you're gonna throw it in reverse here. You've got not one, but two backup cameras. So you got a small one with good resolution there, a large one with poor resolution there. I don't exactly understand the point of doing both. I know, I end up using both, kind of, but not because they're both good, just because they're both kind of weird and bad.
The resolution's very bad.
Yeah. But, you know, little things like that, that's not what this car is about. A car like this, you know, it's going to have its interior quibbles, but it's meant to be driven. So that's what we really need to evaluate, is what is it like out here on the road? You'd have to think it sounds pretty good, and it does sound good, but it just gets loud and kind of it's like a weird, it's not droney, it's like electronic droney. Like you're just kind of like, really? I'm still listening to this just like a vacuum cleaner or like a video game.
Yeah.
So it'd be nice. It's just so weird that Nissan doesn't at least give us the option to turn that off.
You know, this is a lot like the Titan in a lot of ways. There's a lot of things that are very good about it. There's a lot of things that are very bad. It's almost like the opposite of the Titan. The Titan's interior was very good for the most part.
Yep.
But the driving was just kind of eh. This is the opposite. The interior's eh. The driving's pretty good.
I think this interior really isn't too bad. I mean, it's definitely not up to snuff with a lot of the similarly priced stuff. I mean, especially when you're talking 45 grand.
I don't know. I just adjust my seat for better. Oh, wait a minute. You want to pull over so I can move this back?
Chassis loads up, it really does settle in so nicely. There's a lot of confidence. It feels like a larger car, like sort of a GT car almost, in the way that it just like plants and goes, but yet it also still keeps kind of the sports car, go-kartish almost sort of feeling. I mean, there is a surprising amount of grip. 285s on a car that weighs this little. That goes a long way. I mean, we're not even getting any sort of tire squeak.
Yeah.
But the cool thing is it's also the type of car that you don't have to push it to those super illegal speeds to enjoy it. I mean, the engine, you got that sound, you got this really satisfying to shift gearbox and good clutch throw. So you can enjoy this car kind of just coming in and out of corners at decent speeds.
You know, I'm not going to solely bash this car just because it's a Nissan. I will say one thing that's really good about it. The suspension is firm, but it's not harsh. It's not crashy. It doesn't break your spine over bumps. And you got all the sound. You know, we're not doing crazy illegal speeds. It's not like a M8 where we'd be doing 200 by now.
Right.
Miles an hour, and it feels exciting. It feels loud. My eardrums are bleeding. But we're only doing 80.
Yep, exactly. And there's something to be said for that. It's like not quite a Miata, but similar idea.
I have to say, my eardrums are actually starting to hurt from this.
I know, it's probably the car's biggest fault. Steering is good. It's a refreshing. It probably wasn't really that great back in 2009 because you had things like the BMW M3, the E90 M3 that had magnificent steering. But here in 2020, where everything's sort of ruined by poorly calibrated electronic power steering, the Z is a breath of fresh air. It feels much better to steer than a BMW, that's for sure. Very stable at speed too, 100 miles per hour. We were cruising on the highway the other day, just clicking along 90 to 100 or so. It felt very planted, almost German car-esque.
The only thing is the sound.
What? What? I can't hear you.
I could compare it to a high revving two-stroke snowmobile, your sled almost. So you got a not very good insulated helmet. It hurts after a while. It's so loud and so drony.
Yep. I will say one thing you do notice is at these high speeds, a lot of the more high-speed performance cars have more downforce in the rear, and you can, in this car, there's no active aero or anything, and these high-speed corners you can feel a little bit of looseness developing in the rear, and it's a little unsettling, whereas these slower speed corners, all the grip makes up for it. You don't notice the lack of downforce as much. It's also really nice to have Rev Matching. Nissan was, I think, one of the first to introduce it, at least at a price point like this. So if I'm just cruising along here 60 miles per hour and then I decide that I want to go faster and need to drop some gears, it puts the revs right where you need them to, and obviously that kind of screwed up because I put it into second at first. But it's nice to have, and you can turn it off if you want with this switch right here. I would definitely consider buying one of these, especially one of the Roadsters that they don't make anymore. But I certainly wouldn't get the NISMO. I would just get like a touring spec, and I'd have some fun with it. Decent transmission. It's going to be bulletproof, reliable at this point. Naturally aspirated motor. Parts are super easy to find for this engine because Nissan put it in so many things. But yeah, the NISMO version certainly is a bit niche, and I wouldn't miss that 18 horsepower that I'd be losing with the base car. Yeah, it's cool. It's definitely a treat, and it's a breath of fresh air. But here in 2020, it is a bit hard to recommend it, unless, like you said, I mean, you just really there's got to be something that really sticks out to you in this car. That's not a it's not like a rational thing. It's not like it's not a pen and paper sort of deal. There needs to be something that really speaks to you about this car, and if there isn't, then there's kind of not really any reason to buy it.
You've just got to have a bunch of money and you don't know what to do with it.
Yep. And then you just have to like the look and not really care about the interior.
Yeah.
It's, again, not that it's just you can just tell it's not the focus.
Yeah.
Let's hop out, take a look at this engine that we've been graced with having our ears belted out to.
Well, it's not the engine, it's the speaker.
That's true. We really should be looking at the amplifier. Not the easiest car to get out of either, is it?
No, this door. See, now Nissan's just being spiteful.
NISMO. You got this Nissan NISMO crossbar reinforcement here to really structural rigidize the car.
This guy was obviously too much of a Nissan fanboy. Look, it killed him.
Aw, poor guy. Probably got sucked into one of these dual air intakes that pumps on air in there. You can see your mass airflow sensors and your air boxes funneling air into this car. It's good. It's a good motor. It's a good power plant. We've been getting about 26 miles to the gallon on the highway, and that's clicking at well over 70 miles per hour. I'm sure if you cruise 70, you'd get high 20s.
I do love this white that's on it.
I do too. It's really pretty.
The exterior looks really good, and I think that might be a reason to get the NISMO package.
Yeah, and that's kind of a shame though, because it's like, do you need to like get those harsh seats and the firmer ride and everything like that just to get a cooler looking car? I mean, they do have to reward people for ponying up to the NISMO, but like, I don't know. Maybe I'd get the wheels and the exterior accents and leave the interior the same.
This just seems like a car that you walk by at Cars and Coffee and like, oh, that's cool, that's interesting.
Right. The only problem is nearly no one keeps them stock. I feel like everyone who owns a 370Z does some crazy amount of tunes to it.
Meanwhile, then I go back in my Challenger. I get in these nice, big, plush, comfy seats.
Yep.
And then hear that nice rumbling V8.
Yeah, that's true. A Challenger Scat Pack can be had for less than this, and
I can put my McDonald's in the center, get a big milkshake, get my cheeseburgers, and cruise up the highway.
You're making me hungry. Anyway, it's definitely a cool car, but I think you all wouldn't be too surprised that we would really like to see the next generation Z car and see what Nissan does. I mean, they went an entire decade without coming out with a Z car, which Nissan typically does. The Z cars last a long time, but it'll be cool to see. We know that new car's out. I know some people who have been behind the wheel of prototypes, and they say it's quite good. So it'll be cool to see what comes to us. But for now, this is what Nissan's got. Between this and the GTR, their sports car portfolio is looking a bit ragged, but it can still hang. Even if it's not a class leader, it's still got some really good merits. Anyway, thanks to Nathan for helping us evaluate Nissan's 370Z NISMO. Thank you.
Wait to hear the comment section on this one.
Oh boy, it'll be saucy. Coming back for Nissan Revenge Round 2. If you guys liked the video, please hit that subscribe button. It helps us out a bunch. Check out some of our other videos. We'll have a sound system demo on the Bose audio system here in the 370Z. Link to that will be in the description. Check out some of our other videos. And as always, we'll see you on the next one. I'm Charlie from Daily Motor. Drive on.